Hi children, today we are going to study our last topic in the chapter, the nationalism in Europe. Today's our topic is about nationalism and imperialism. Nationalism and imperialism. In this topic, we will study about Balkan Problem. Our subtopic, Balkan Problem. So children, by the last quarter of 19th century, nationalist tension that spread in different parts of Europe. So what I told children, by the last quarter of 19th century, nationalist tension spread in different parts of Europe. So the most serious source of nationalist tension in Europe after 1871 was an area called Balkan. So the most serious tension of nationalist tension in Europe, it was after 1871 was an area called Balkan. Balkan was a region of geographical and ethnic variation. So what about Balkan children? Balkan was a region of geographical and ethnic variation. Balkan comprises modern day Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia, then Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia and Montenegro. These are the regions included in the Balkan region. So Balkan region comprises these all areas, or Balkan area comprises these all region. And the inhabitants of Balkan region, they were broadly known as Slavs. Inhabitants of Balkan region, they were known as Slavs. Okay, so the inhabitants of Balkan region, they were known as Slavs, and a large part of Balkan was under the control of Ottoman Empire. Large part of Balkan was under the control of whom? Ottoman Empire. Large part of Balkan region was under the control of Ottoman Empire. The spread of the idea of romantic nationalism and disintegration of the Ottoman Empire made this region more explosive or more dangerous. So what I told children, the spread of the idea of romantic nationalism and disintegration of Ottoman Empire made this region more explosive. Throughout the 19th century, Ottoman Empire made many effort to strengthen itself through modernization and internal reforms, but it only had very little effect. So what children ma'am told, all throughout the 19th century, Ottoman Empire made many effort to strengthen modernization and to strengthen through modernization and internal reforms, but it only had very little effect. One by one of the nationalities, it was break away. One by one of the nationality broke away and declared as independence. One by one of the nationalities broke away and declared as independent. So Balkan people, they used the history to prove, Balkan people used history to prove that once they were independent, but they were subsequently subjugated by foreign powers. They were subsequently subjugated by foreign powers. So the rebellion in the Balkan region, it was an attempt to win back their long lost independence, or it is an attempt to restore their glorious past. So what ma'am told children, the most serious nationalist tension in Europe, it was occurred in 1871 in the area called Balkan. Then ma'am told about the speciality of Balkan. Balkan is a region of geographical and ethnic variation, and it comprises many regions: Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Montenegro, Serbia, like that many regions included, many areas included in the Balkan region. Then I told the inhabitants of Balkans, they were known as Slavs. Large part of Balkan area were under the control of Ottoman Empire. Then what happened? The idea of romantic nationalism and disintegration of Ottoman Empire made this region more explosive. So throughout the 19th century, Ottoman Empire tried to strengthen it through modernization and internal reforms, but it only had very little effect. One by one of the nationalities, they broke away and they declared as independence. So Balkan people, they are using history to prove that once they were had a glorious past, or once they were independent. So, but what happened? They were subsequently subjugated by foreign powers. So rebellion in the Balkan region, actually it was an attempt to restore their long lost freedom. Balkan region, different Slavic nationalities lived and they struggled for independence, that already we learned. So this area became an intense area of conflict. So all the Slavic nationalities, they lived together and they struggled for independence. So what happened? This area became an intense area of conflict, and the Balkan state, they were jealous to each other. Balkan states were jealous of each other, and each hoped to gain, or each tried to gain more territory at the expense of the others. So each tried to gain more territory at the expense of others. Here the matter became more complicated because Balkan became the scene of big power rivalry. So here the problem became more complicated. Why the problem became more complicated? Because Balkan became the scene of big rivalry. It means, it is a rivalry means, children, spirit of two competing sides. Balkan became a big power rivalry. It means it is the spirit of two competing sides. And during this period, there was intense rivalry among European countries. There was intense rivalry among European powers over trade, colonies, as well as naval and military might. So what happened? This Balkan region, it became more complicated because it became a scene of big power rivalry. So each power like Russia, Germany, England, Austria-Hungary, this all tried to extend its control over Balkan area. So the powers like Russia, Germany, England, Austria-Hungary, these all region, they tried to extend their control over Balkan region. This led to a series of wars. It led to a series of wars in this region, and finally the First World War. So children, I think you got an idea about the Balkan problem. Anyway children, our last topic, some conclusion is there. Nationalism aligned with imperialism led Europe into a disaster in 1914. So a disaster in 1914 happened in Europe, that you know, that is First World War. Anyway, many European powers in the 19th century, they began to oppose imperial domination, and anti-imperial movement developed everywhere. Anti-imperial movement developed everywhere. All the nationalists struggled to form independent nation state. All the nationalists struggled to form independent nation state, and the idea of nation state, it is accepted as natural and universal. So this is about this chapter. So today we mainly studied about Balkan problem. I think this topic is clear to you. So this chapter is over. This is our last topic. I think today's topic is clear. If you have any doubt, ask me. We will meet in the next class.